Ever notice how life rarely goes exactly how you planned it? You map it out, make the checklist, visualize the steps, but then real life kicks in. And that's when the test truly begins. Not of your plan, but of your trust. I'm in the final stretch of moving to Mexico right now. And I'll be real with you. So much of what I planned for didn't unfold the way I thought it would. Some delays, some unexpected costs, some curveballs I couldn't anticipate. But what surprised me most isn't what went wrong. It's how I responded. See, there's a difference between having structure and trying to control everything. And trust? Real trust isn't tested when things are flowing smoothly. It's tested when the plan breaks and you still choose to move forward with calm. When things felt overwhelming, I caught myself slipping into analysis paralysis, trying to figure it all out before taking action. But I've learned clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from movement. One of the most powerful shifts for me has been this. If the step feels too heavy, shrink it. Don't try to solve the whole thing. Just take the next small aligned action. That's what unlocks the path. That's what tells your nervous system, I've got this. Hey everyone, Ricardo here checking in from the beautiful Comitan, Chiapas, aka my new home. And today I want to speak to you about this concept of movement creates clarity. Sometimes we get stuck in our mind overthinking all the possible steps that we need to do to accomplish our goals. And in reality, the thing that we need to do is just take the next small step towards our vision. And by taking that next step, it helps open up the pathways to create clarity and present the next natural step to help us get to our final end game. And the point I really want to transmit is that clarity comes through action, not overthinking. You don't have to have it all figured out before you get started. Trust me, I've been there. Overthinking, trying to plan out every single step. And ultimately what I did was I just created so much friction between myself and actually even moving. I stated it earlier, analysis paralysis. I stayed stuck because I was overthinking of all the steps I needed to do to accomplish my goal. And I found finally, when I was introduced to this concept, just take the smallest step that's aligned with your goal and see what happens next. And I actually applied that. And I found that that was just such a powerful experience for me because naturally, after I took that first step, the next thing just fell into order. The next step felt natural and it just presented itself. And it was easy to take that next step. And then guess what? The next one followed. And ultimately, yeah, I got to my final end game. And initially I had thought it was just, I had to do this, do this, do this, do this. And in reality, you're just like, okay, right now I just need to go here. And to bring it to a real life example, I connected when I first started my business. I was so paralyzed with everything that needed to be done. I was reading this book. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I was just introduced to all these wonderful concepts, understanding of accounting and business. And I was inspired. And I had been doing freelance work for about 5 years at this point. And I just decided, you know what? I want to start to explore this and start to learn a little bit more about business and start to explore these tax benefits as well. So I set the mission out to start my own business. And wow, it took me about 5 or 6 months of planning, overthinking, to finally get to a point where I just got so tired of just my mind was just so heavy with all these like, well, I got to do this. I got to build a website. I got to start my LLC. I got to do this. And finally I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to start my LLC. Let's start there. And I did. And I went through this platform. And after I set it up, it prompted up, hey, you want to start your bank account? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do that. And I did that. Then I started to think, okay, well, how am I going to present the offer? All right, website. All right, buy a domain. Boom. And then from there, explore like, where do I want to host it on? Do I want to do something that's simple? I have a web background, so I can program a little bit. And I chose to do what I'm comfortable with. But just naturally, it just started to flow. And it was so beautiful to experience it because initially, I'm telling you, it was like 5 months of just being stuck. Like I decided, yeah, I want to start my business. Let's get going. And 5 months of just overthinking to the point where I couldn't anymore. I got tired. Then I was introduced to the concept and said, you know what, let's just do this. And then boom, the path presented itself. And to kind of really bring it in, the mind tries to resolve the unknown. How can I resolve the unknown if it's not even here yet? Life naturally unfolds in front of us. And it's our responsibility to respond. If we break that word up, responsibility, our ability to respond. So as life naturally unfolds, then we get to choose, okay, well, this is presenting itself. I feel like this is the path of least resistance. It's still aligned with my goals. This is where I'm going to move. And guess what? Take a step this way. And if that's not it, boom, I can pivot. But motion is where the power is at because the more we move, the more life responds, and then other situations and opportunities present themselves. And on a very meta level, action signals to the universe and to your mind, I'm ready. Let's go. And naturally, life responds, and the mind, when we work with it, will respond with it as well. And as we start to learn how to move through uncertainty, we start to build that grit, that trust within our being, within ourselves, and that knowing that no matter what we do, we're going to be all right. If you reflect on your life, any challenge, any situation you've been through that you moved through, you're here today, right? So building up that grit helps you start to get that trust within your being to move through any situation at all. And as you start to build up that grit, you build that fortitude with your inner master. And then your inner master gets the confidence to move through any situation, any unknown with confidence. Our protective mind seeks control. Our inner master seeks alignment. Confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the trust in your ability to respond as life unfolds. And a little integration tip I'd like to share is before any big decision or before you even start to spiral, take a deep breath and ask, what would the highest version of myself do in this situation? And move from that space, from that embodiment of your highest self, that confident, sure version of you that already exists right now, right here. You just have to allow it to move through you. So one of the last points I want to talk about is that the universe rewards movement, not perfection. Waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of hesitation. Life mirrors you and it meets you halfway. And you can visualize it like a GPS. If you're not moving, how can it reroute? I mean, you have, if we're going to go back to the old days, MapQuest, you have this printed out version of where you have to go. And that's more like static. All right. If I miss it and I don't know where I'm at, okay, well, I got to find like the streets and get back on track. Whereas with an active like GPS, you're moving. And guess what? Okay, well, I missed this exit. Well, here's the next possible pathway to get to your destination. And that's how life responds, right? We move, we see, is this taking us in our direction? If not, okay, we have to readjust. And it's going to help us find the path of least resistance every time. And I invite you to ask yourself, what's one action I can do today that will tell life, hey, I'm ready? And do it. If this message landed for you and you want more tools and reflections on how to navigate the unknown with confidence, I'd love to invite you to join my newsletter below. If you want to connect more personally and talk about what's moving in your life, I also offer 15-minute connection calls. No pressure, just space to reflect and move forward with more clarity. You can also support this channel by subscribing, liking, or sharing this video with someone it might resonate with. Thank you for being here, and until next time, family, hausch hausch.